What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on the situation that's going on with Ja Morant. So recently, what's the guy named Kendrick Perkins came on to I think it was ESPN and said that Ja Morant could possibly find himself out the league in 2 years, right? Now, I told some friends of mine probably about a couple years ago when Ja Morant started getting in trouble off the court that I that this thing wasn't going to end well with the Grizzlies and Ja Morant, right? And part of the reason why I knew that a couple years ago that wasn't going to end well is because not just the off the court thing, but the situation where because of his playing style, right? His playing style is not conducive for winning. He play hero ball and he's a high volume shooter and the team don't win anymore when he's in there, right? So their record is probably I think the same, 117 with him and 117 without him, right? So that's like it don't really affect winning. I know it's he people like to watch him play because he's an exciting player, but other than that, he don't affect winning. And for Ja Morant to go from a situation where he could have possibly been the face of the league to now, people talking about he's going to be out the league in a couple years. That's a crazy situation, right? And so I'm gonna play what Kendrick Perkins said. Then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give my input on what I think. Hold up. This is crazy. Mm-mm.
We joke when I say this little saying, one foot in the grave, the other on the banana peel, but I'm dead serious when I say this. That's the situation when it comes down to Ja. Ja Morant better wake the hell up, because in 2 years after this contract, he could find himself out the league. It is disturbing to hear that a guy that won, we're talking about former rookie of the year, all NBA player, all stars, a guy that was on the verge of being the face of the league, and a team can't trade you. They can't trade you. Nobody wants you. And they're telling teams that, hey, if we want you, if we get you, y'all gotta, hey man, y'all gotta put something in there. Y'all gotta send Ja in the first round. It should be the other way around.
All right. So yeah, that's crazy for Ja to find itself. But that's if you ask me, that's Ja Morant fault. Like I said, number one, the off the court issues. That was his first problem. When he got suspended 2 times for the same infraction. And so that was the issue. Then his relationship with his coach and the and the ownership or the management of the organization, right? This current coach that he don't get along with. He didn't get along with him. I don't know if they had an opportunity to you know, I think basically Ja still want out of there, and they want Ja out of there, right? Because they think that he is he a distraction to the team, so they want him out of there. So he don't have a good relationship with the coach or management over there, right? And that is mainly because of his attitude, and I don't know why he act the way he act or he feel the way he feel, but that's the situation with them, with Ja and the management. Number two is Ja, like I said. Number three, really, is his playing style. Like Ja Morant is a high volume shooter. So with him being a high volume shooter, and that is really not conducive to like team ball and winning. So if you want to win as an organization, you have to have people in there that are going to, and that's what basketball is getting back to. It's getting back to guys playing their natural position and doing more than just shooting the ball. Ja just shoot the ball. He's not big on distributing and setting his teammates up. He's big on allowing them to set him up, like throw him alley oops and stuff like that. But other than that, it's not like that with Ja, and that's why they don't win. His skill set at the offensive end is very limited. And then on top of that, defensively, he's not really a big defender. So that also is going to hurt him. Now, if Ja was if Ja was the player that they wanted him to be, then the off the court stuff they could have ironed that out. They would have swept that under the rug. Um, he would be able to, even if he didn't have a really good relationship with the coaches, depending on how much they wanted to keep Ja there, they would either get another coach, somebody who could get along with Ja, or when they trade him, they would just be able to get more for him. But the fact that they can't get anything for him, that's really an indictment on Ja Morant, right? Even if he, like I said, even if he didn't have the off the court problems, he would probably, if he didn't have any off the court problems, Ja Morant will probably be like what Trae Young is, right? What Trae Young, Trae Young was exciting and everything, but he didn't have the baggage that Ja Morant had. So they was able to move him from Atlanta to DC, with no problem. But Ja got all this, he could come to your organization and be a malcontent, somebody who's not happy, right? And right now it's to the point where, like Kendrick Perkins said, like Ja Morant, if he wants to salvage his career, he has to really, get himself together, get his, straighten his attitude out, and learn how to play basketball, like team basketball, like that hero ball, and um, going to the basket and trying to dunk on everybody, then getting hurt. It's really not. It's not conducive for winning basketball, and you can't even really sell tickets like that because half the time he's not in there because of injuries. So Ja Morant is gonna, and that's the thing. Like this era of basketball, well, some players in this era, the teams have allowed a lot of these guys to play hero ball, no defense, and you get mad at the players when like the teams and the organization has created this, and now they got a coach there in Memphis who's just coaches are changing this, and I think the same thing for Trae Young. Like if Trae Young, if he don't get his self together, or change some things about his game in DC, this might be his last stop. Which I have more confidence in Trae Young though, because I have seen Trae Young. Uh, he can be a pass first guard, and he do set up the big men for like assists and alley oops and stuff like that. So Trae Young, I think Trae Young will get it together. The thing about Trae Young, he still is a small guard, but he can make up for it in other ways, and that's how basketball used to be. Like you use your advantages where you can, and then your disadvantages, you try to minimize your disadvantages because every ball player has a disadvantage, you know what I mean? A place where they weak at. But if your strengths outweigh your weaknesses, then you'll be able to be successful. But Ja Morant, man, this guy right here, just he in trouble. He in trouble if he don't wake up soon and start playing real basketball. And y- what Kendrick Perkins said could be very true. Like this guy will really be out the league. And I'll tell you another guy who is what's the guy, LaMelo Ball, right? His playing style. If you notice, like Charlotte has LaMelo Ball coming off of the bench, right? And now that they have him coming off of the bench, they're having more success. So this should be a sign to LaMelo Ball too. Like, look, play basketball the right way. These step back threes and um all these turnovers and the reckless passes and the uh ill-advised shots and stuff like that. Like these guys are very undisciplined and they don't take care of the basketball. And so the NBA is getting back to playing real basketball. And you can see certain teams that are playing that way. You see the Celtics, how they play. The guy was it Jalen Brown. This guy is a very efficient basketball player, very efficient shooter, and his shot selection. Some people talking about him for MVP. Then you got Cade Cunningham, very efficient at the offensive end, and he played defense. Like just like Brown, both of those guys play defense, but Cade Cunningham, very efficient on offense and play defense. Shea Gilgris, very efficient on offense, shoot that mid-range jumper, and he played defense. And that's the way, basketball is getting back to what basketball used to be, back in the day, the 80s and the 90s and in the 2000s, with Kobe and all those guys, man. So these guys who playing that and one basketball, they're not going to be in the league. They're not going to have, when you get to the NBA, you should be always thinking about these guys should always be trying to get better, and like they're not learning the game, shooting the way they shooting and taking these ill-advised shots and stuff like that. So I can see why people feel like, he on his way out. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.